Good afternoon, people. Welcome everyone to our sports news channel. Here you are always well informed. I ask you to subscribe, leave your like, and thank you very much. Last season, the NFC East was the best division in football. The Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, and New York Giants made the playoffs, and the Washington Commanders finished 8-1. The Cowboys made it to the divisional round, and the Eagles, who won the division, made it to the Super Bowl. Expectations remain high in 2023, and to remind everyone, there has not been a repeat division champ since the Eagles ruled from 2001 to 2004. But the Eagles are considered a Super Bowl favorite and signed Jalen Hurts to a mega extension. The Cowboys added veterans with championship experience in cornerback Stephon Gilmore and wide receiver Brandon Cooks, with Mike McCarthy, a title-winning coach, taking over as the play caller. The Giants re-signed quarterback Daniel Jones and defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence while adding pieces for coach Brian Daboll's offense. The Commanders are moving on from Daniel Snyder as owner, and while they are going with 2022 fifth-rounder Sam Howell at quarterback, there is an excitement with new offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. With the off-season programs complete and training camp a few weeks away, ESPN's NFC East writers answer the biggest questions looming. How big is the gap between Philadelphia and the rest of the division? Eagles, not as wide as last season. The Eagles still have the best chance of making a splash. Per ESPN's Football Power Index, they have a 25.5% chance of reaching the Super Bowl compared to 13% for the Cowboys, 4.2% for the Giants, and 2% for the Commanders. But they lost 5 defensive starters as well as their offensive and defensive coordinators this offseason, and they have one of the most difficult schedules in the league. Their opponent win percentage of 0.566 is tops in the NFL. Their division rivals could all take a step forward, whereas it wouldn't be a total shock if the Eagles took a half step back, particularly if their good fortune on the health front takes a turn for the worse. Tim McManus. Giants, the Cowboys might think they were close, but the Giants know they weren't. Daboll made it abundantly clear at the NFL's annual meetings when he interrupted a reporter who was talking about their 2022 success. "Yeah, got smoked in the playoffs," he said, referencing their 31-point loss to Philly in the divisional round. The Eagles won all 3 meetings last season and had 2 first-round picks in the April draft. The Giants' roster is better after adding tight end Darren Waller, some wide receiver depth, and a competent inside linebacker in Bobby Okereke, but the gap separating them from the Eagles was so massive last season that it's still significant. Jordan Raanan. Commanders, there's a definite gap between the Eagles and Commanders at quarterback and the offensive line. Jalen Hurts' ascension behind his line allowed the Eagles' offense to become one of the NFL's best. But defensively, Washington is right there. The Commanders ranked ahead of the Eagles in points per game allowed and 1 spot behind them in yards per game. The Commanders have good offensive skill talent. They need Sam Howell to provide consistent quarterback play and for the line to be better. Washington's total QBR last season was 39.1, good for 26th in the NFL. Philadelphia ranked 3rd at 63.4. The top 11 teams in QBR finished with a winning record, 10 made the postseason. That's the gap that must be closed for Washington to challenge for the NFC East title. John Keim. Cowboys, the gap might not have been widened much this offseason despite the Eagles' addition of more Georgia defenders in Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith in the first round. The Cowboys lost to the Eagles in Philly last season with Cooper Rush at quarterback and beat them at AT&T Stadium upon Dak Prescott's return. The Cowboys made smart additions with Gilmore and Cooks that will make 2 of their better players, Trayvon Diggs and CeeDee Lamb, even better. The Eagles are the favorites, but the Cowboys are right there with them. Todd Archer. Who will win the NFC East? The Eagles win the NFC East if the new wave of offensive and defensive line talent rises to the occasion. With defensive tackle Javon Hargrave exiting for the San Francisco 49ers and Fletcher Cox, 32, and Brandon Graham, 35, in the twilight of their careers, it falls to rookie first-round pick Jalen Carter, second-year DT Jordan Davis and third-year defensive tackle Milton Williams to pick up some of the slack. Second-year offensive lineman Cam Jurgens, meanwhile, is transitioning from center to right guard in an attempt to fill the hole left by Isaac Sumalo. Philadelphia needs either he or Alabama rookie Tyler Steen to lock down that job to ensure Hurts is operating from a clean pocket. McManus. The Giants win the NFC East if quarterback Daniel Jones takes another step forward in year 2 under Dable and offensive coordinator Mike Kafka while Waller and some of the Giants' top offensive weapons stay healthy. A more explosive offense, specifically the passing attack, will at least give New York a chance to improve on their 1-4-1 record in the division during the 2022 regular season. The Giants scored more than 20 points just once in 7 games against NFC East opponents last season, including the playoffs. That was a 22-point outburst in a 26-point blowout loss to the Eagles. That's not going to get it done. But if this new offense with an improved Jones and better and healthier weapons can be a top half of the league unit, look out. It's not entirely inconceivable either. Ronan. The Commanders win the NFC East if the defense plays as it could and should all season. The defense has finished in the top 10 in yards and points in 2 of the past 3 seasons. But they need to start stronger. Last year, for example, the defense ranked 19th in yards and 18th in points in the first 6 games. But over the final 12 weeks they ranked 6th in points and 1st in yards and 3rd down conversions. They've added a healthy Chase Young, limited to 3 games in 2022, at end and a potential playmaking corner in first-rounder Emmanuel Forbes. If the defense provides the backbone, it allows the offense to grow under new coordinator Eric Bieniemy and Howell, who has 1 NFL start. Keim. The Cowboys win the NFC East if Dak Prescott moves away from the interception issue that he could not shake last season. He tied for the most in the NFL with 15 picks despite starting only 12 games. With coach Mike McCarthy as the play caller, taking over for Kellen Moore, let's remember how Aaron Rodgers rarely turned the ball over in their time together with the Green Bay Packers. The Cowboys will run a combination of McCarthy's West Coast offense and what the Cowboys have run over the past 15 years with Prescott calling it the Texas Coast offense. Even without running back Ezekiel Elliott, this should be an offense that ranks near the top of the league with a defense that has talent at every level. Archer.